Have you ever looked at your small house cat and thought, if this creature was 5 times bigger, I'd be lunch? For our ancient ancestors, that wasn't just a fun thought experiment. It was a daily reality in the brutal Pleistocene world. Welcome to the first why. Today, we ask how the weakest creature on the map became the ultimate boss of Earth. Take a look at yourself. No thick fur, blunt teeth, and useless fingernails. Biologically speaking, you are a very fragile creature. Compared to other Ice Age mammals, humans were a total joke. We were slow, weak, and had absolutely terrible night vision. Yet, here you are, watching this on a high-tech screen. Our ancestors survived a world that was a constant horror movie. To understand how we won, we must see what we were up against. These monsters of the past were truly terrifying. Meet the cave lion. This distinct species of massive steppe hunter was 25% larger than the modern African lions we know. They were built for the brutal, cold, and hunting giant prey across the open plains as the world's ultimate apex predators. If you saw one coming across the tundra, running wasn't an option. They were significantly faster and much stronger than you. Next is the short-faced bear. This beast stood 12 feet tall and weighed well over 1,000 kilograms of pure muscle. New research suggests they weren't sprinters. Instead, they were colossal power walkers with incredible endurance for stalking any prey they chose. They were unstoppable biological tanks. They didn't need to sprint if they could just outlast you over a very long distance. Their massive size made sharp turns impossible. But in a straight chase, you were just a slow-moving snack on 2 legs. We can't forget the saber-toothed cat. Their upper canine teeth reached 28 centimeters, designed for precise and lethal strikes on prey. Surprisingly, their jaw bite was weak. A modern lion is actually 3 times more powerful than a smilodon was back then. But they used massive front limbs to pin prey like a wrestler before driving those long daggers into the soft throat. Then there was the cave hyena. These were the primary competitors for the most valuable resource, a dry, safe cave. Humans and hyenas swapped caves for thousands of years. It was the most dangerous and stressful roommate situation in human history. Let's do the math. You're facing 800-pound cats and 1-ton bears that can crush your bones with one single snap. Meanwhile, humans only run 25 kilometers per hour. That is barely a warm-up for a hungry and fast Pleistocene predator. We have thin skin and no armor. We also can't see in the dark, which is exactly when monsters hunt. On paper, we should be extinct. We were a physically unimpressive species in a world that was dominated by giants. Early fossils show our ancestors were frequently eaten by leopards. For 1,000,000 years, we were just a source of protein. Every night was a gamble. Every rustle in the grass was a potential death sentence for the entire human family. Why are we telling the story while the cave lion is a fossil? How did we flip the script on nature? We didn't get stronger. Evolution didn't give us claws or thicker skin to compete with the massive Ice Age bears. Instead, we hacked the environment. We used our brains to change the rules of the predator-prey relationship for the better. We started projecting aggressive confidence. We made the world's most dangerous animals doubt their own ability to hunt and kill us. Imagine hairless bipeds walking toward lions with only sticks. In nature, if something doesn't run, it is usually very dangerous. We used that instinct against them. We gaslit them into thinking we weren't worth the lethal risk of an encounter. We created a landscape of fear. We forced predators to question if we were actually the most dangerous creatures in woods, but bluffing only works for so long. To survive, we needed to strike from a safe, long distance to stay alive. We needed to turn our physical weaknesses into tactical choices. We had to master the natural elements for the first time. Becoming a super predator took 1 million years. We used landscape memory to avoid dangerous dens for many generations of humans. We had to learn how to keep the terrifying darkness at bay. We needed our weak bodies to carry the power of thunder. How did a creature that can't outrun a hyena conquer the entire planet? The answer is hidden deep in the dirt. The secret lies in a discovery that created a zone of safety. It was a flickering wall of orange light. New evidence suggests we controlled fire 1.8 million years ago. That is much earlier than we once believed was possible. Fire let us turn our bad night vision into a weapon. But fire was only the first step in our revolution. We were about to build something even faster, something that could fly at 150 kilometers per hour. The age of the spear was coming, and the monsters of the Pleistocene weren't ready for it. To understand our survival, we have to talk about the first great shield. For nearly 2 million years, fire was more than just warmth. It was the original home security system that never slept. New evidence from Wonderwork Cave in South Africa shows we mastered the flame 1.8 million years ago. This discovery pushes back fire control by 800,000 years. Our ancestors were already turning the night into a safe zone. We have been keeping the darkness at bay for nearly 2 million years. Imagine being a Pleistocene predator. You've evolved to own the dark, but then these bipeds start carrying pieces of the sun into your territory. Predators are programmed to avoid unknown risks. A creature that holds a burning branch and shouts is an evolutionary nightmare that predators cannot comprehend. To a predator, a creature that doesn't run is an unknown risk. In nature, unknown risks are lethal. Fire allowed us to stop being victims. It created a landscape of light for our next move. Eventually, we needed more than just a shield. We needed to strike in the open. The breakthrough came with the Schoningen spears. New 2025 research has updated their timeline using amino acid geochronology. These spears are now 200,000 years old. These were high-tech Neanderthal weapons. They weren't just sharpened sticks. They were precision-engineered aerodynamic tools. This allowed small groups to take down wild horses. Instead of wrestling a beast, we could strike from a distance. This communal hunting strategy was the beginning of our career as the planet super predators. Then came the real revolution in physics. The atlatl. This was a simple lever that functioned as a mechanical extension of the human arm. This adds incredible leverage to the projectile. A dart launched this way can travel at 150 kilometers per hour. At that speed, mammoth hide is butter. The atlatl didn't just make us faster hunters, it democratized the ability to kill. In a world of pure muscles, the atlatl leveled the field. The 2024 research shows it allowed individuals with less muscle mass to be lethal. Women and youth could now achieve the same defensive hunter capacity. The entire group became a mobile battery of high-velocities missiles. We were no longer vulnerable apes. We were a coordinated unit of long-range biological snipers. This technological leap exploited a massive weakness in our predators. A smilodon was a master of the canine shear technique. It needed to get very close. It had to wrestle you to the ground to use its power. Our technology made that physical superiority irrelevant. Why does bite force matter now? Recent 3D simulations show Smilodon had a weak jaw bite anyway. If a 150 kilometers per hour dart hits you from 50 meters, your teeth are useless. The cave lions weren't just fighting humans. They were fighting the laws of physics. We were hacking the environment to bypass our own physical limitations. It took nearly 1 million years of refining group coordination. But once we mastered the ranged attack, the megafauna was in serious permanent trouble. Giant animals had a massive biological disadvantage. A mammoth takes nearly 2 years to carry a calf. They could not evolve fast enough for us. They couldn't adapt to a predator that killed from a distance. This created a massive imbalance. The cave lion was 25% larger than today. They only entered caves to hunt hibernating bears or were dragged in. The short-faced bear was another nightmare, standing over 10 feet tall. Biomechanics tells us they were colossal power walkers. Their massive size made sharp turns difficult. Our agility was a key survival advantage against these giants. We were becoming the ultimate unknown risk for every species. As we expanded, local monsters had no idea what hit them. We were the ghosts. In Australia and the Americas, extinction rates were highest where we arrived suddenly. Giant sloths didn't recognize us as a threat until it was late. Tools and fire were only half of the story. The physical weapons were lethal, but our psychological weapons were even better. We colonized their minds. We were learning how to manipulate their instincts to make them fear us. Every encounter was a lesson passed down for many future generations. We were building a mental map of every den and watering hole. This landscape memory allowed us to store danger maps in our heads. Language allowed us to pass down threat locations for centuries. We were turning the entire planet into a landscape of fear for every predator. Soon, the most terrifying thing in the woods wouldn't be the lion. It would be the sound of a human voice in the distance. We were the descendants of a lineage that successfully gaslit the most terrifying predators. We convinced them that we were the most dangerous thing alive. According to the fossil record, we were absolutely right to do so. The physical weapons were just the beginning of our dominance. To truly own the planet, we had to start playing mind games. The real terror was next. The real terror was next. This wasn't just about sharp sticks anymore. It was about psychological warfare. We started playing mind games with the most efficient killers on the planet. Think about how a predator chooses its prey. They look for weakness, fear, and the primal instinct to flee. If you run, you are nothing but food. But ancient humans did something that broke the natural order forever. We developed what scientists call aggressive confidence projection. We refused to act like prey. Modern research shows tribes like the Hadza still use this specific psychological tactic today. They walk directly toward lions to scavenge their meat. They don't hide. They march forward with total, unearned authority. To a Eurasian steppe lion, a creature that doesn't run is an unknown risk. In nature, unknown risks are lethal. Our ancestors essentially gaslit the animal kingdom into fearing us. We created what ecologists call a landscape of fear. Predators associated the smell of humans with a fight they couldn't win. This mental pressure changed where they hunted and how they behaved. This wasn't just a solo act of bravery. It was a collective strategy powered by social transmission and the invention of language. Language allowed us to share vital information across time and space. One human might find a bear's den and survive. Instead of that knowledge dying with them, it was turned into a map stored in the group's collective memory. This was a superpower. We could warn our grandchildren about a specific cave for a century. This landscape memory made specific threats avoidable for generations. No other species had a multi-generational warning system. While we mapped their homes, we refined the tools to invade their territory. The Shoningen spears from 200,000 years ago show we were masters of the ambush. These weren't just random sticks found in the brush. Using amino acid geochronology, we know these tools were used for communal hunting. We were turning into a coordinated and lethal pack. Then came the atlatl, the ultimate game changer for our species. This spear thrower could launch a dart at 150 kilometers per hour. It gave us the power to kill from a safe distance. The atlatl was a great equalizer for our ancient ancestors. You didn't need massive muscles to be lethal anymore. Women and youth could now achieve the same lethality as the strongest males. This technology neutralized the physical advantages of megafauna. A smilodon's 28-centimeter teeth meant nothing if it couldn't get within reach. They used a canine shear technique, pinning prey with massive forelimbs. But we attacked them from far outside their strike zone. Even the short-faced bear, a 1,000 kilograms colossal power walker, couldn't handle us. It was too massive to make sharp turns at speed. We used our agility to stay out of its reach. We also used fire as a permanent psychological boundary against the night. Evidence from Wonderwork Cave pushes controlled fire back to 1.8 million years ago. Homo erectus used flames to deter predators very early on. Fire created a safe zone of light in a dark world. It wasn't just for cooking or warmth. It was a weapon. It was a glowing sign for any predator with sensitive night vision. The cave hyena learned this lesson the hard way. Humans and hyenas swapped the same caves for thousands of years. We were competing for real estate, and we were winning. This transition didn't happen overnight. Early Homo habilis fossils from Olduvai Gorge show they were frequently eaten by leopards and other cats. By the time Homo sapiens arrived, we were undisputed super predators. Our expansion had a devastating cost for the giants of the world. We arrived suddenly in Australia and the Americas. The Quaternary extinction saw the loss of over 150 mega-mammal species globally. Mammoths and giant sloths were biologically unprepared for us. They had evolved to handle ice ages, but not human hunters. These large animals suffered from biological lag and long gestation periods. They couldn't reproduce fast enough to replace individuals we killed. We hit them faster than they could recover from hunting pressure. This is the overkill hypothesis confirmed by 2026 macroecological studies. We conquered the world by using our minds to bypass physical limits. We turned our thin skin into a strategic advantage. Our lack of natural weapons forced us to invent better ones. You are the descendant of the ultimate survivors of history. You carry the DNA of people who outsmarted the most terrifying monsters to ever walk the earth. They were our masters. We convinced the world that a hairless biped was the most dangerous thing alive. Looking at our planet today, we were right. This is Have the First Why, where we dig into the deep history that made us who we are today. Our past is legendary. Understanding our history is the only way to navigate our future. If you found this fascinating, please hit the like button. It helps us continue exploring the mysteries of the human journey. What do you think was our most important survival tool? Was it the spear, the fire, or the stories told around it? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive. Thanks for watching, and stay curious about our origins. The world was built by those who stood their ground. We will see you in the next exploration of time.